Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. It's time for a snowy cabin. I was in the mood to create a very snowy and cozy build. I built this house in Granite Falls. It's a rental lot, but you could also place it in any other world and use it as a regular residential lot. And it's really spacious, really luxurious, and I wanted to have this beautiful window facade. And for this, I've used the windows from Snowy Escape and I've placed them on a wall, as you can see here. And my plan was to just get rid of the walls. So this is like a really easy obvious hack, I guess. You can just place windows on walls and then delete them. You could use it to create a greenhouse in the garden, for example, especially in combination with a glass roof. But here I just wanted to have this look. So I've built lots of cabins in the past. I just love this style. I love Granite Falls. So every year when it's winter, I'm working on a cabin, I feel like. But most of my cabins in the past were really warm and super cozy, and the colors were like warm wooden tones. But this time around, I wanted to go into a direction that's a bit Scandinavian, very modern and edgy, so the colors are very cool. And when you look at the design, the roofs and everything, it reminds me of these barn conversion builds. So this type of very modern style that I feel like is generally quite trendy, like in architecture right now. I wanted to translate this type of style into a beautiful cabin, but I still wanted it to look very cozy. And this was kind of the challenge because when you look at the colors, it's like really cold and all that. But I feel like especially after landscaping and adding so many trees, it started to look more cozy and inviting. And I'm just obsessed with this type of style. I love this roof swatch. I've been using it so much recently. It's just the best. And I was trying to figure out how to expand the build because I knew that I would like to have a nice shape. But the facade in the front, the triangular window facade, was supposed to be the eye catcher. So this is why I've kept the rest of the build relatively simple, and I've then just expanded it a little bit. Whenever I'm working on a build like this, especially when I want to use the terrain tools and when I'm working on a cabin type of build, I really like to raise the terrain first, build a room at the bottom, then I'm placing a floor piece on top and I'm expanding it so the floor piece is sitting on top of the terrain. This way I have another level at the bottom, which is not a basement, and I'm able to utilize it later if I want to, because later on you can't just add another level below. You would be forced to use a basement, and I didn't want to use a basement. So this is how I've planned out the build. Like at the very beginning I thought, okay, I'm just going to add this random room at the bottom. I might use it, I might not use it, but if you do it, if you lay out the shape out like this first, you will be able to use the level if you want to. If you don't want to use it, you can just get rid of it. But you can here see that I decided to use the level. I've placed a round wall down there, but this is a nice little trick that I like to use. So whenever I feel like I might want to do it this way, I'm just adding the level and it's ready for me to use. If I don't want to use it, I'm usually just raising the terrain below. I just feel like it adds so much complexity to a build, and when you're using a basement, you won't be able to smooth out the terrain at the edges and all that. So if you want to have this type of look where you have like a walkout basement essentially, and you want to have like a really smooth slope, this is how I'm doing it all the time. And here I'm working on the curved pool, the round pool. I've used this rug here from Journey to Batu, and I really love to use this rug as a guideline because it has a nice shape. And sometimes I'm just using a part of the rug to have a nice guideline. Sometimes I'm sizing it up or down. Sometimes I'm combining multiple of them. But here in this case, this rug perfectly fit into like this area right in front of my curved room, and I just followed the shape of the rug to place these cubes from Desert Lux, and I then started to use the custom pool tool to place a pool on the inside. I'm going to remove a couple of cubes later on so your Sims will be able to get into the pool. You could also place the cubes in the basement, and then you could press 9 to raise each individual cube, for example, or you could use the tool mod to move the cube, but you could also just press 9, and this way the cube would be on a different level than the pool, and your Sims would be able to get into the pool even though there is a cube technically in the way, but it's not because it's on a different level. But here I did not want to use this trick. I thought it just looks nice to just get rid of the cubes, and it just looked good this way. And you can here see that there's a lot of snow. I had switched to live mode to change the weather a bit, and I just wanted to see what it's looking like when it's really snowing and all that. And what I usually like to do is I let it snow, so there's snow everywhere, and I then switch to hot weather so the snow starts to melt, and I then pause. So only a part of the roof is covered in snow, as you can see here. This way you can just get the feeling, like the vibe, how it's looking like, and if you are feeling it, and how you want to like decorate a build like this, but you are still able to see the roof swatch and how the colors are matching. And this is how I usually do it. And yeah, my sim had a hard time freezing on the outside. And here I'm working on essentially just a deck area. I knew that I would like to have a hot tub, because what's cooler than just chilling in a hot tub? You are in the nice hot water and then there's snow all around you. I just love this so much. It's just such a vibe. Like a couple of weeks ago, I went swimming with my boyfriend, and there was a pool on the outside, like a heated pool, and it was already pretty cold outside, and the steam was rising, and it always feels so surreal because your head is kind of a bit cold, but your body is warm, and I just love this. It's so cool. And yeah, I just wanted to add a hot tub here. And I then removed the flop pieces, so I have a nice round shape, and I multiplied some of the cubes to have this shape, but eventually I've decided to add a basement in front of the pool, and I've added lots of debug rocks, so the look was a bit different eventually. I already furnished the exterior a bit at this point to just see what it's looking like, and I then wanted to add a nice glass roof. In this area there will be a bedroom below. I think it's the master bedroom, so there is a lot of light coming in, and for this I've just combined different roofs, and I've used the base game glass roof swatch to have this type of look. I just once again wanted to add more complexity to the build, just as I've done by using the little walkout basement trick, and I always feel like a nice glass roof adds so much to a build like this. I wish we had more glass roof swatches, like different patterns. Just some very modern, up-to-date options, but who knows, maybe one day. And here I'm working on the back of the build a bit. I've added another balcony just to connect everything, and I also knew that I would like to have some stairs on the exterior, so your Sims don't have to use the stairs on the interior, but they can also like go from the pool up to the balcony and deck and everything. And I've then added another kind of a hallway down there. I just felt like the build was lacking something. Like this area was completely empty, so I just added this room and lots of windows. I've once again used the modern windows from Snowy Escape. In this case, I did not use any Island Living glass floors, but they have the same dimensions. Like these Snowy Escape windows and the glass floors from Island Living are matching perfectly. So I could have also placed some Island Living glass floors on top instead of a roof. And this is looking so cool. Also, again, cool for a greenhouse, just like the window facade. So you could build a greenhouse, a sunroom, just all kinds of different things. I just really love to combine the two. And here I'm using a basement. Again, I wanted to have even more complexity. I just needed another level. This is just for decorative purposes. And I just added the basement. I've removed the ceiling by clicking on the yellow outline, and I just clicked on remove ceiling, and I then just kind of struggled to connect everything. There's a little gap because these are two different levels, but I've just left the gap and I've added these beautiful debug rocks from Snowy Escape, just the perfect rocks for a build like this. But you could also use base game rocks, and yeah, just generally recommend to take a look at debug because you will find so many rocks there. And I've then built a fireplace. I'm going to link the tutorial in the description box. I've once again followed the fireplace tutorial by the talented Schnook. I've used this fireplace in builds before, and the tutorial is just amazing. You only need the base game for this. I mean, I've decorated the fireplace the way I wanted to, but if you just follow the tutorial, you can replicate this by just having the base game. And I just switched to live mode quickly so my sim could light the fireplace so I could see what it's looking like, and it's looking pretty cool, and I was really happy. I then had to decide on just different colors, and I just wanted the interior to be really warm and cozy, but it's still super modern and edgy. And I've also used some darker colors. I just wanted to have a nice mix of colors and moods going on. And this cube from Desert Lux is just perfect. I'm so obsessed. You know how much I like the pristine pedestal from Get Famous, and I've created so many modern builds using the pristine pedestals, especially some round builds. But I also love this cube so much. It's like perfect. If you don't own Get Famous, but you want to like create some round shapes the way I've done in the past using the pristine pedestal, you can just use the cube from Desert Lux and do the same. That you can even connect them, so it's pretty much seamless. It's such a cool object. The swatches are cool. It's just so wonderful. But I mean, it has different dimensions, but generally I'm just so happy that we got this cube. And I'm also really happy that we got these LED stripes in high school years, because ever since the pack came out, I've been using them everywhere. And I then started to work on the dining area, which I wanted to have right behind the fireplace. You can see that this area is pretty slim and I was running out of space, so I've eventually just made the room a bit bigger just by one tile, and then it was working perfectly fine. This is why the dining table suddenly fits into this area. I just needed one tile more, and luckily I was able to do so, because sometimes you have already ran out of space on your lot and you're not able to even make the build or the room bigger in a specific area. So I was pretty relieved that I could just make it a bit bigger, and I just wanted to have some type of custom furniture situation. So I've combined these shelves from Dream Home Decorator, and I've then placed a glass table, I think from Get to Work maybe, on the inside, and it just looks a bit fancy, like some glass top on top of the surface. I have no idea, but you can see what I've done here. And yeah, I want to choose lots of golden tones, and it's just really warm and cozy but still modern. The peacock is just so cool, from decor to the max. It's like so over the top, but perfect for a build like this. Usually I would not combine it with a lot of modern furniture, but here I just thought the peacock is perfect for this. And the chairs are from high school years, and it just started to look really golden, which I think is nice because it's like so snowy and cold on the outside. So when you look on the outside, you have the snowy landscape, but the interior is pretty warm and cozy yet modern. And I then also had to place a TV somewhere. So there's like a main living room area right in front of the fireplace, and I've then created a small TV corner kind of. So behind this wall we have the stairs, and it's an open floor plan, just as most of my builds. So it's very open and modern. And I just noticed that I have to squeeze in a kitchen somewhere. Usually I start off by working on the kitchen, but I just felt inspired to use Schnook's fireplace again that I started off by working on the living room. And the kitchen has a really unique shape, I feel like, because, I mean, look at this. It's just a bit out of the ordinary, but I mean, that's also cool. So it's a bit different, and I think it's looking pretty cool. And these counters from Dream Home Decorator also have a lot of golden details, which was just perfect for the direction I was going, like color-wise, all the color schemes and everything. As you will see, there are multiple bedrooms, and as I've said earlier, you can use it as a rental lot or you could use it as a regular residential lot. I just think it's perfect for Granite Falls because of just the whole look of Granite Falls and the look of this build. But it might also be just a nice mansion, a nice residential lot. I also think that it's a cool build that you could use when it's summer, so it's like optimized for snow and winter, for a nice winter vacation or something. But I mean, there's a pool, a hot tub, and all that. There's like this beautiful world of Granite Falls, so it's also perfect for a nice vacation in summer. But yeah, you could use it in every season essentially. And here I'm working on the master bedroom. I've used a wall decoration from Dine Out to have a custom headboard. I've then placed LED straps from high school years at the top. I've then sized up some shelves, so I have a custom nightstand. I've placed the lamps on top by just pressing 9. I've just raised them. The bed is from high school years, and it also has a black headboard, and I've moved it into the wall decoration from Dine Out a bit. I've just pressed Alt on my keyboard to move the object freely, and I've just merged it like into the wall decoration, so the wall decoration really looks like a gigantic headboard. And again, I wanted to have a lot of golden tones, and this rug is just perfect for that. It's from City Living, I think, and there's like this nice nook with windows going all around it, and I've just wanted to place 2 armchairs, a nice table in the center, so you can just sit there, maybe read a book, look on the outside, because I feel like this is kind of the real star of this build. It's just the beautiful surrounding, like the beautiful world of Granite Falls. This is why I've added so many windows. I mean, I generally like to do that when it comes to modern builds, but here it's totally justified because Granite Falls is just so stunning. This is another room. I've just placed 2 beds in here, so you can see that a lot of the rooms don't have like too much personality in terms of adding clutter or a lot of toys, because I still wanted this to be like a typical rental lot, so I didn't want to add too many personal touches. I mean, in some of the kids' rooms I've done that a bit, but not too much. So as I've said, you can use it for like both as a rental lot or a residential lot. This is a nice, wonderful room. Ever since high school years came out, I've really enjoyed to use the new objects. I've also used some stuff from the Pastel Pop kit, which was designed by Plumbella, and I'm obsessed with the kit. And of course also with Plumbella. I love her so much, and I was just so excited when the kit was announced. And I'm generally mostly using neutral colors, as we all know, but then I just kind of had my Barbie phase where I was starting to work on pink builds, and ever since then I've started to embrace color in my builds more. I like when it's really colorful and happy. I've also had so much fun furnishing this room here, and I've also used a lot of objects from the Pastel Pop kit also in this room, which has a nice beautiful lilac color, and I love the kit so much, and it's just so fun to work on colorful builds. So here in this case, these are just some bedrooms, but I also want to create a nice colorful build again soon. I just have so much fun decorating and furnishing these builds. It just makes me happy. It's just such a world of a difference if you just stare at a nice colorful pink house for hours, or like at a really neutral colored house. I don't know, the colorful environment just makes me so happy. It lifts my mood, and I've really come to embrace color in Sims 4 build mode. And here I'm working on the basement. There's a random Sim standing there, and yeah, I just wanted to add another pool, so there's a nice interior pool as well. And this is it. You can here see lots of screenshots, and you can download this build from the gallery. My ID is KateEmerald. You can also download this build from my Patreon. You can grab the tray files over there. And speaking of which, it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons and my Emerald YouTube members. A big thank you to Mehmet Ali Baris Khan, Lady Sims Katie Y, Lisa Martin, Saturated Spark, Shannon McClam, Stemlicious, Stephen, Stephanie Mead, Alona Bleu, Andrew Hill, and Jake Wrighthouse. Thank you so much for your gigantic support. I appreciate it so much. A big thank you to all my other Patreons and YouTube members. And of course, a big thank you to anyone who's here and watching my videos. Thank you so much for all of your support. I love you all so much. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you will have a perfect day. I hope your Sims might enjoy this build as a rental or residential lot. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.